All right, guys, so here we go with our explanation of how to do this folding that we've been working on. And I want to take you through this tessellating origami pattern that makes a really great surface for a paper sculpture that's using repetition and lines and shapes and texture, all that kind of stuff kind of built into one. So we're just going to go through it together because I know there's been a lot of struggle in making this happen. So first thing we're going to do is take our paper, and I'm going to orient it into the portrait style. I'm going to fold it in half. Now when it comes to these folds, as mentioned before, it's really important that we are precise. So I really want to get it lined up as perfectly as I can. The paper itself is cut straight, so if we use the edges of the paper as our guideline, our folds are always going to be straight. So it's folded in half. I'm going to unfold it, and now you can see pretty clearly there is a line in the middle. I'm going to take the bottom fold and bring it up to that center line, and I'm going to fold it lined up on that line as precisely as I can. Get that done, and I'm going to turn the paper around, opening it up. You now have two lines. I'm going to take the bottom edge and go to the center again. Okay, so getting it all lined up. Really seating those folds in heavy, like just pushing right down onto it. So now I have 4 boxes that I have created, and I'm just going to continue to make more. So taking the bottom edge now, taking it up to that first seam, I'm going to fold it again. Watching my edges, I need to make it lined up on the outside edge and lined up all along this line, and then lined up on this edge as well, the best that I can. And to get this fold, what I'm actually going to do is take this edge, I get off my screen, to get this fold here, the line in between these two, I'm going to take this bottom edge and I'm going to take it up to my top line. The first fold that I made, I'm going to line it up to there. And I just find that it's actually a little easier that way than trying to fold it in on top of itself again. Okay, then I just have one more section to do. Actually, no, I have these bottom 2 sections that I have to do. So let's do this one first. Try to get it all lined up all the way across, and really go ahead and get a strong fold into that one. And now to find this one, I'm going to go down to not the top line but the second one down, and I'm going to match these edges into here. And then I'm going to fold that so everything is done all the way across. And so now when we see it, I have 16, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, no, I have 8 sections. We were going to do 16 to start, sorry. So I have 8 sections, and now I just need to turn this into an accordion. So the first fold, I'm going to fold the way that it was, but the second one, I have to reverse the fold so that it comes up, and then the next one is down, and then the one after that is up. So I'm just turning it into an accordion fold here, with every other fold going in the opposite direction, so that I have one paper line. And the key is that when I look at this thing, all of the edges should be really strongly lined up, and within fractions, tiny millimeters, that is the case. It's really lined up straight on the edges, all the way across. So I'm happy with that, and we're ready to move on to the next part. And right off the bat, I'm hoping that I get it right today because I have been known to mess this up. We just want to fold this thing to a 90-degree angle. So I'm taking the corner here and I'm folding it down to form 90 degrees. Right, so we make a right triangle with that. And now what I need to do is use this edge as my guide for my next fold. So I am going to take this and pull that down, and then I'm going to and I am immediately wrong. I'm actually going to do it this way. So folding this tail down, I'm just going to go ahead and use that as my guide right there. And I really want to get this as straight and tightly pressed because I'm going to be using that crease over and over again. So it was like this, right? I had turned it down. I'm actually turning it over, and then I'm just folding this down so that these two things meet right there. And I can see that that is the case. All right, so now what I have is I have these two angles or two corners. I have this one here on the upside of this where this line runs into the paper, and on this side I have this one where it also runs in, and that is my guide for my next fold. What I actually want to have happen is I want a fold that happens right at this corner that then leads up to this one. And so I need to take this and fold it so that it is lining up, it's making a line between this point and this one that's up here. I want to get that lined up really, really well. And I want to push that, just push that fold in. And now you can see that I have the same thing happening where I have a corner here and I have a corner here, and I need to fold along those lines also. So from that corner to this one, I need to line this up right along there and fold that into place. And I really, again, I just want to make sure that that folds down really well. And again, you'll notice that now I have a corner here and a corner there, and I'm going to take and fold this so that it lines up to those corners. So I'm just creating this zigzag back and forth over and over again. And I just want to really get those folded in. In fact, I've got this pencil edge here. I'm just going to use that and really get these creases set. It's going to make things easier for me. All right, so just kind of getting those in, and now I've got just one more, it looks like. I can make it work. Break this in from this corner to that one. And it's beautiful when it all works out just right, which it did this time. Here's the edge of this. It's actually a paintbrush. I think I said a pencil. That's what I was thinking in my head. All right, so now we have this thing all set. And I can see that there's a small problem. Not a big problem, just a small one. Hopefully. Yeah, that's going to be, there we go. This was folded the wrong way. I just got to fold it underneath. But should have all of these folds going in the same direction, and they do. If I had one going in the opposite direction, I would be in trouble, but it's not. It was just folded up instead of down. So that works out. When I open it up, you can see that all of these diagonals all the way across are in the same direction, and that's what I wanted to have happen. So I'm going to go ahead now and open my paper up. And it's going to reveal this herringbone pattern that we've created, and you can really see all the lines in the paper, which is exactly what I wanted to make sure happened so that we could see how to do this. The lines are crucial to us, and so much so that I think what I actually might do is just take a half a second here, and I'm just going to mark on the paper where the points of the lines are. I'm not going to trace the whole line, but what's important here is where the V's are made, because that is what guides me in the creation of this thing. And so I need to be able to see these lines. And just to help you, I'm just going to go ahead and mark them real quick at the bottom of the V's on the lines. And so I want you to be able to see this pattern so that when you go to make yours, you know exactly what you're looking for. So this might just help a little. I tried to really crease it. I've also tried to give us some directional light in the room so that the light is coming across to reveal the texture of the paper. And so far it's kind of working. It's not getting so washed out here. And there we go, just marking these down. And those are the crucial points inside of this thing. And you can see that they're going in the same directions in each row. And that is what we want and what we need to have when we actually go to do this. And so I'm going to bring this back towards me just a little bit so that I can get it right here. All right, so we're ready to go. And the first step, I guess, is to make the first row. And so right now, if I fold this thing kind of back the way that it was into the accordion, what you will notice is that along each of the ridges, like this ridge right now is up, and this one is down, and this one is up, and this one is down, this one is up, this one is down, this one is up, and then if we did the same, it would go the other way. And so I'm just going to turn this around so you can see. Now the ones pointing up are the ones that are up in the air further, the ones that I can pinch together, and the ones that are pointing down are the ones that are down in the valleys. And what ends up happening is that we have to, basically we have to reverse this whole process. And so first thing we're going to do is take the ones that are pointing down, and we're going to bring those so that they're up. So I have to reverse this right now. And when I push this part of the paper in so that this can come up, I have to reverse the fold for that whole row. And so I'm pushing that point up, and then I'm going to pop the paper so that as I fold this inside like that, this new crease now runs the whole width of the paper. And I have another row over here on the side that has to go the opposite. So this one, pulling that up so that this crease now is pointing towards me, and this one that was towards me is now pointed down, right? And so I just reversed the fold for those two things, and this needs to fold down like that. Okay, so now this one that was up, right? It's poised. It was going up, and now it has to go down. And this one that was down has to come up. So I'm just going to push this in like this and reverse this whole fold that was down now needs to come towards me. And this one that was towards me, I have to push down in. So I'm just going to reverse the direction of that whole seam. And when I do that, push that in. Now I can see that I've reversed it. Now this one is standing up towards me, whereas before it was the one that was down. Now it's up, right? I had to reverse that. And so this one right now is folded up. It needs to be folded down. This one on this row is folded down. It needs to be coming up. So I'm just going to push this thing in, which will start to make this thing want to come up, which I'm going to allow it to do. Reverse the fold, and then I'm going to push this one down. It has to go down in, right? And so there I have reversed all of the folds. And this one was up, and now it's down and away from me, like that. Okay, so now we can open this thing back up, and we have the beginnings of our tessellation fold in place. To make it work the best, the next thing I'm going to do is turn the paper over, and doing this back and forth this way really does make everything a little bit easier. So right now, if you'll notice, all of the peaks where the paper is folded up towards me, all of these, there is a line that goes around, and if I put this down, you can probably see it, right? And that's the important thing. I'm going to go ahead and just mark the ones that are up right now. That'll just show me, okay, these, all of these, when we accordion this thing, all of those are the peaks that are up in the air. And all I have to do is reverse it. So now, this one that's down in the valley, it has to come up, and I need to push this fold down. So this fold is going to come up towards me. This fold is going to go down, the reverse of where it just was. So in order to get this fold to start coming up towards me, I'm going to go to that point right down here where that line is. I'm following the line up and down. I'm going to take this line, this whole fold, and it needs to start folding up now. But when I do that, I have to push in the shape, and so I am reversing this thing. This whole line needs to be reversed. So where it was folded in one direction, now it folds in the other direction. So I'm going to push these up, and when I do, I'm going to push the whole line up, that whole thing up to this point. Notice I didn't do anything on this side, right, because it was already up in the air. So I'm reversing this. Now I can push this one that was up down. And so you'll see what happens is that it really makes this thing now start to stand out. This one is folded down, and this one next to it is now folded up. And so I just reversed the direction of my fan, and I pushed these things in, and that's what started to form that shape that we need for our design. So I did that on those two, and now I got to get to this one. Right now this one is still, this is still folded up, but this one is folded up too, and I have to reverse it. So I'm going to have to push this one down. It's easier if I do two at a time, so I'm going to skip that one for a second and go to the next one and work on popping the next one up. and then come back and push this one down in. And I find that working 2 at a time works out better. And so I'm just kind of flexing the paper in so that I can see what's supposed to happen. This one is up, that means this one has to be going down. And this one was down, which means it has to come up. So this whole row is now folded down, and the one next to it over here is now going to be folded up. So in order to get it to come up, I'm pushing this forward, then I just reverse the direction of that, reverse the direction of all these folds. Everything all the way across should be in reverse. Okay, so I'm getting this thing to really work on my behalf. So this one's down, this one's up, this one is down. Make sure that that goes down. Just got to grab it slightly differently. Okay, so got to get that one to go down in order to get this one to come up. Try to keep the orientation the same for you, but at the same time, I've got to get this thing to work. So, all right, so this one is up. This one has to go down. And this one has to come up. And we're going to start to fold this together. Get that to go in. This one has to come up so that I can fold it. And, that one has to stay down. Okay, very good. This one to go down, this one's got to come up. So, got to jump over to the next one now. Pushing this fold to come up in order for the one next to it to go down, which is what I need it to do. Hopefully you can see this. I just have to keep working myself across all the time. Just have to remember whatever was down is now up, whatever is up is now down. And so I'm trying to turn it so you can see in the light what's happening, and I'm just pushing, folding it, like forcing it together so you can see. Notice this one is supposed to come up, but right now this fold is down. In order for it to work, that fold has to go up the whole length of the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and let it do that. It's got to go all the way to the bottom. Same thing here. This fold is getting caught right here. It needs to come up the whole way. So I'm just going to go ahead and flex that so that it will do that the whole way. This one is supposed to be down, so it needs to go down the whole length of the paper. And when it does that, then everything is going to start to fall into place. Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and finish this row. I've got this one up, this one down, this one is up, this one is down, this one is up. The next one is down, the next one is up, and then the next one is down. So, this one is sticking. Got to get it to come in the way that I want it to. Get that in. Okay. There we go. That was where it got stuck. That unfolded there so it can come together. Got stuck there again. This one is not wanting to cooperate, so we got to make it. And this one is supposed to be down all the way. Get it to do that so that it can come together. There we go. Oh, that one just didn't want to work. There we go. We got it to go all the way across. And now we're in good shape. We're going to turn it over where we can see again what we have to do. Here we have this row is coming up towards us, the next row is going down, this one is coming up towards us, the next one is pointed down, this one's up, this one's down, this one's up. So we just have to reverse all of that. And we're going to go to the next, this one's already engaged, so I go to this one and I push it up. I'm going to skip this one to start because it just is much easier when I work two at a time and I work one ahead of where I'm actually at. So that way I can work that fold in and push this all the way down, work the next one up. Then I'm going to work ahead again. I'm going to skip the one in the middle because it's going to go down, and it won't go down until I work the one next to it up. So I'm just reversing all of these folds. Find that line, this one's up, this one has to go down. It'll go down much better when this one comes up. So I just work across, work this fold up. So now I just reverse the accordion, whereas these folds were all down before, now they're all up. And the ones that were up are all now down. So I've reversed the accordion, like the fan of the whole thing. And in doing so, I started to reveal what's happening here. This one came up, this one down. This one came up over here, this one went down, this one up, down, this is up and down, this one is up. Need to establish that a little bit better, right? And then that's down in the middle, and then this is up. And so as I put pressure here on the bottom, and I made sure that these things reversed all the way to the bottom, it revealed the pattern that we're trying to get and made it possible for me to straighten these things out now and fold it all the way up in. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit this with my edge so that I can see that I've got it and it's really coming together. So now we're going to turn it over. And inside of here again, this first fold now, you can probably see this one is up towards me, down, up, down, up, down, all that stuff. And we just have to reverse it. So again, we're going to go to our fold lines. This is the line that I'm looking for. All the way across, I follow this fold line because that's the one that I'm working on. And where that fold line is down, it's going to come up. And I'm going to work those downs up first. So I'm going to skip this one, which is on the fold line up towards me. Right here, I'm going to go to the next one over, and I'm going to push that one up and reverse the fold on that first. Okay, and then that is going to allow me to push this one down. So got to get that to come together. There we go. Okay, so find that line, pull this one up, and then push this one down. So I just, oh my goodness, there we can see it, it's going blind. So this, it was this way, right, with this one up and this down. Now I'm going to reverse it. Push this one up, pull this one down. Just reverse the direction of those two folds. And you'll see now we've got this happening. Right, this one's up, so the next one has to be going down. But in order to get that to go down, I'm going to follow my line down to here, and I'm going to push this one up. And when I do that, that allows me to push this one down and pull this one up. So I'm just reversing the direction of the accordion fold that we have, and then revealing the pattern as I go. So now, this next line here is supposed to be down, but it's up still, right? It's still trying to do this bent towards me. I need to reverse this one. So I'm going to follow that line down to there. I'm going to push that one up, and when I do, it allows me to get this one to go down. So I just reverse the order of those two folds, and then finally reverse the one on the end. And if I grab all my ends now, they should accordion together, and they should be in the opposite direction of where they just were. And in doing that, it should reveal to me the design that I'm working on and allow me to close everything back up. Right, so I can get it together. What happened here? This did not. There it goes. Okay. So now this is really coming along pretty well. I've got a lot of the pattern here visible. I'm going to turn it over, and it's going to reveal to me what has to happen next. I just go and I find the fold line that I'm working on. I've got it here, up and down, right? Up and down through the whole thing. You can see it. Everywhere that's up is going to have to be pushed down, and all these down folds are going to have to come up. I'm going to skip this first one and go to the next one there and push it up. It makes it easier for me as this one comes up. This one automatically wants to go down, so I just reveal that fold out to the end and then reverse this fold. And there we go. We have it. Right, so now this one is up. This one was up. It needs to go down in. This one has to come down. So in order to get that, I'm going to go to here. I'm going to push this one up. And that automatically makes this one want to go down. So I'm going to push it in, and it's going to reveal that part. This one is up already. It has to go down. To get it to go down, I just go to the next spot right there and push it up. And then push this one in all the way back to that point where it was, and that reveals the pattern. And then this one is up now, so this one has to go down. Push that down, but I have to maintain the shape, so that's why I keep the edges always up and push that in. So then I should be able to accordion this thing all the way out again, and then give it a nice little squeeze. Finish that up. Give it some love that way. And I am at the last one now. And so I just look across here. It's best if I turn it over. And all of these points here that are, all of these that are pointing up have to point down, and then I have to fold it. So this is the last one, so I'm just like collapsing that in, collapsing this one in. It needs to stay in and come together, collapsing that in and pulling it together. Right, go to this one, I need to collapse it in tight and pull it together, and then this one, pull it together. Okay, and there we have it. Essentially, should have taken us to the end, and whoops, mushed that a little bit, but ta-da! There we have it, the full herringbone design, all laid out, and you can see it very clearly here that we have it all. And that is the process. You could do this now that you've got the hang of it and you know what you're watching for. You can do this at a much slower, smaller scale to add more and more folds all the time. Okay, that's it, you guys. Knock it out. You need to have this, this technique down so that we can use it inside of our sculptures as we use these things to create forms that have repetition and pattern and texture on them. That's it.